Prologue, The Unwoven Threads. The air in Metropolis X tasted of burnt copper and regret. Even after the Phoenix's flames had dimmed, the city's wounds bled, not blood, but echoes. The Spire of Echoes, once a monolith of Sebastian Valcrest's ambition, stood fractured, its shadow stretching like a claw over the slums where the Veil's whispers grew louder. Survivors scavenged the ruins, their hands brushing against walls still warm with residual magic. They spoke of omens, mirrors that showed futures not their own, shadows that moved without light, and a low, resonant hum in the earth, as though the world itself were tuning to a dissonant chord. Sebastian walked among them, unseen. The Veil's scar pulsed rhythmically on his face, a metronome to his newfound existence. The shards, echoes, desire, abyss, hung at his side in a fused relic, cold and alive. They were keys, Helena Dry had said, to a door not yet opened. But doors swing both ways. In the derelict chapel where he'd first bargained with the coven, he found a message scrawled in ash: "The architect's crown is not the only one that strangles." Beneath it lay a child's doll, its button eyes replaced with slivers of mirror. The Veil shuddered in response, flooding his mind with visions, a spire of black glass rising in the wastelands, a choir of faceless singers harmonizing with the void, and a woman with Evangeline's eyes, not Evangeline, smiling as she peeled reality like fruit. Chapter 1, The Fractured Sanctum. Beneath the broken bones of Metropolis X, the umbral order festered. The catacombs were alive with chants, yet there was no harmony in the liturgies now. They were sung in broken tongues, each note a cry from the brink. The worship of the void was no longer heresy, it was gospel. Acolytes branded themselves with crude sigils, hoping to mimic Asmer's cloak, to become shadows of salvation. Sebastian, cloaked by the Veil's fold, slipped among them. His presence was a phantom thread in a tapestry coming undone. What he discovered knotted tightly around his soul: a new prophet had risen, the Weaver Song. This figure, cloaked in starlight and wrought, claimed the Veil was a prison, and Sebastian its jailer. They had unearthed a fourth shard, the one never mentioned by the coven, the shard of Oblivion. A shard capable of undoing everything. The architect's design, the balance of the realms, all unraveled by a whisper. In the catacomb's heart, Sebastian confronted the prophet. Their voice was a legion of dead dreams. Balance is a lie told by cowards. The Phoenix was the overture. You, Valcrest, are the crescendo. The battle that followed scorched the air. The fused shards sang, vibrating with chaotic resonance. The prophet's death was not a triumph. Their last breath birthed a chorus. The Weaver Song is not one. It is many. And they are already singing. Chapter 2, Echoes and Blood. Returning to the spire's ruins, Sebastian found no solace. Echoes of himself haunted the halls, choices unmade, paths untaken. The mirror shards embedded in the stone shimmered with impossible futures. He dreamed of Evangeline, but she spoke in the Weaver Song's voice. He woke with blood on his hands and no memory of violence. The Veil was fraying. At the edge of the rift, Helena Dry awaited him. Her form flickered, fragmented by dimensional strain. The coven's sanctuary was gone, its priests gutted, their obsidian blades still warm. "You knew," he accused. The shards in his grip pulsed like dying stars. "The Veil chooses. It has chosen them now," she said. Her voice cracked, not with guilt, but inevitability. "The Refracted," she whispered, as the rift screamed open. Out stepped mirrored versions of Sebastian, eyes crimson, their shards inverted. Each a reflection born from choice, regret, or defiance. And they had come to unmake him. Chapter 3, The Refracted War. The Refracted hunted him like wolves with his scent in their blood. Across the wastelands and dead zones, Sebastian led them in a dance of survival and sabotage. One by one, he faced them. Each reflected a possibility he had denied. The tyrant, Sebastian, who embraced Asmer. The martyr, who never fused the shards. The hollow, who gave everything, and gained nothing. They were not merely enemies. They were answers to unasked questions. Each death carved deeper into his soul, until he no longer knew if he was killing echoes or parts of himself. Chapter 4, The Black Ledger. In the ruins of a forgotten archive, beneath the old Arbiter's library, Sebastian found it, the Black Ledger. An artifact he had sealed away before the Phoenix's fall. Once empty, now it spoke. The crown you steal will strangle you. The crown you shatter will remake you. As the Refracted breached the archive's chamber, Sebastian read the final page. It burned. The ledger disintegrated, leaving only a key-shaped shard, the shard of memory. He plunged it into the Veil's scar. Light and shadow warred inside him. The Veil screamed. Chapter 5, The Rebirth of the Architect. When the pain faded, Sebastian was changed. Celestial runes curled across his left side. His right bled darkness, a living void. The shards fused completely, no longer relics, but essence. The Refracted had vanished. Not destroyed, unmade. The Veil no longer whispered. It commanded. Finish what you began. Sebastian stepped into the sunrise over Metropolis X, flames gathering in his palm. The city would burn again, not in ignorance, but with purpose. He would be the spark and the extinguisher. Chapter 6, The Loom of Sorrows. In the shadows of the Ashen Ranges, Sebastian sought the loom. It was no longer legend, he could feel its pull in his bones. Helena had spoken of it before the rift claimed her, calling it the last place the Veil remembers. There, past the drowned ruins of Even Shade, waited a cavern carved from forgotten time. Within, time stuttered. Ages flickered like candlelight. Faces from Sebastian's life appeared and vanished, some loved, some slain, all unreachable. At the center hung the loom, a spider-like construct of flesh and chrome, its threads humming with lives unlived. Sebastian approached and saw a single thread knotted around a shard of glass. The shard of choice. When he touched it, the loom convulsed, and a voice spoke through the walls, "You weave with borrowed threads. What will you cut to create your own?" He left with the shard and a decision he refused to speak aloud. Chapter 7, The Pale Assembly. In the ruined capital of Verillion, where statues of old gods bled rust, the Pale Assembly met for the first time in 2 centuries. They were monarchs and madmen, mystics, and remnants of shattered houses. All feared what the Refracted heralded. Sebastian came not as a petitioner, but as a warning. The Veil is not fraying. It is unraveling. The Refracted are not enemies. They are symptoms. The monarchs argued. The mystics wept. A single question echoed across the chamber: could the Veil be rewoven? Only one answer came, not without sacrifice. The assembly offered Sebastian their strength. In return, he would carry their last hope, a blood-forged sigil known as the Covenant brand. It burned into his arm, binding him to every life that offered itself for the final reckoning. Chapter 8, Songs of the Weaver Song. As the Weaver Song's reach grew, cities fell not by flame, but by forgetting. Names, memories, even gravity twisted in its wake. Sebastian traced the echo to the hollow basilica, now inverted and suspended in a dimensional fold. There, choirs of eyeless children sang in tones that split the soul. At the heart of it, he found her, the first voice. A being once known as Sebastian Valcrest. His sister. Unmade and remade by the Veil, she sang creation backward. I saw the threads you abandoned, brother. I wove them into hymns of freedom. You call it madness. I call it mercy. They clashed. No blade, no magic, only memory versus forgetting. In the end, he silenced her with the shard of choice, cutting her from the Weaver Song. But she left behind one truth. You are not the architect. You are the pattern. Chapter 9, The Crownless Path. To reclaim the spire, Sebastian walked the crownless path, a gauntlet of illusions shaped from guilt. Each step forced him to relive what he had done in the name of balance. Evangeline's betrayal. The Phoenix's death. The unspoken love he never pursued. Each became a gate he had to break, not pass. At the summit, a throne waited, but not for him. Instead, it held the last refracted, the one who chose nothing. A Sebastian who had walked away from power. All roads lead here, but none leave. Choose again. Sebastian offered the fused shards. No more crowns. No more prisons. Only flame. He shattered the throne, releasing the veil's knot. The world trembled. Chapter 10, The Thread Eater. With the veil torn, a final horror woke, not a god, but the hunger between stories. The Thread Eater. A vast, eyeless form stitched from discarded timelines and orphaned dreams, it descended upon Metropolis X, devouring past and present alike. Sebastian stood alone. The fused shards burned within him. The loom's thread of choice, the memory key, the covenant brand, all converged. He entered the Thread Eater, surrendering identity. Inside, he saw the pattern, not destiny, but possibility. He rewrote the song. With his final breath, he became the loom. Epilogue, The Quiet Thread. The world remembered differently. Metropolis X stood again, though no one recalled its fall. The veil hummed with calm purpose. The weaver song was a cautionary tale. And in a chapel no longer abandoned, a girl stitched dolls from mirrored cloth. She spoke to them of a man with fire in his eyes and shadows in his steps. He wasn't a hero, she said, smiling. He was the thread that chose to break. Somewhere, far beyond reach, the loom pulsed once more. And Sebastian watched.